All right, welcome, guys. Happy New Year. This is the first long form podcast of the year. My name is Thomas Singh. If you're new here, this is Easier Said Than Done podcast, and this is all about helping your mindset, throwing in a little bit of education around property. But I wanted to go into, first of all, where I am. I'm at my home right now. It is January the 7th, and 2025 has started off a little bit bumpy, depending which side you want to look at it, right? But I thought we'll start off with a bit of the recap of 2024, of if you guys have achieved your goals. If you haven't, you should be wondering why you didn't do that. And the first thing would probably be because you're hanging out with fuckwit losers that have held you back. That is the number one reason why you have not achieved your goals. Now, other people can blame it on other issues, but that is the number one reason. And I have always made videos that you should be hanging out with people that are doing better than you so it can help lift you up. But last year was an interesting year. There's massive growths happening that is like absolutely life-changing to people. One of them is, just the growth of AI and the political change that's happened in America that will trickle down to our amazing country that is New Zealand. We've already seen changes that Trump has done that New Zealand is now following suit. One of them is being like banning puberty blockers in New Zealand. That probably would not have been done unless Trump got in and just declared there's only two genders. There's heaps of small things, but you could look into that yourself. Another thing that is a good thing is, Elon Musk, who's I'm a massive fan on. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see he's not just a random person that I'm just trying to throw down people's throats. He is arguably the smartest person on earth. You know why? Because how that's measured is by IQ. And the dude that actually has the smartest IQ pretty much kneeled down and said, nah, it's Elon Musk. Because at the end of the day, that guy knows that Elon takes action into his own hands and has achieved more, because results is the only metric that people should be looking at how smart someone is. You could be a genius, but you could be a broke loser. That is not the person that you should be calling smart. But that guy with the highest IQ is still a well-respected dude. He's Korean doctor as well. Elon's obviously done something that has been a game changer for everyone that is online. You are watching this online, whether it's YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook. Your entire life is controlled by the screen of what you see, and it dictates the facts that you speak. So sometimes, depending on where you're getting information, you could say something and people can look at you very confused, being like, this dude's a dipshit. This dude's an actual idiot. I don't know where he's getting his facts, and I don't know if he's even going to fact check it. We grew up in classrooms where if you say something dumb, everyone will turn around and stare at you, and you'll be like really embarrassed of what you've said. So you should be more certain of what you're saying. You won't find that on Instagram or Facebook. You have to find it on platforms like X. Why? Because it also has a separate service called Community Notes, which fact checks things that people are posting. You don't have that on any other platform on earth. Only on X. And it's amazing because it's like peer reviewed by people. It's similar to how Wikipedia worked if you grew up with Wikipedia, where you could just be looking at an article, someone could go in and change it if things don't make sense. And then people, the masses, all agree on the fact. That is how X works. So I have sort of pushed this a little bit more to my Instagram followers. You guys should be getting on X because it's just a way more exposed, eye-opening platform. One of the things which is a disgusting story currently that Elon has exposed is the up to 250,000 rapes that have happened for young girls in the UK. Google it yourself. But the thing is, Google won't even show you much of it. You have to literally go on X and then you have to look it up, and Elon's posting like hundreds of times in the last week about it, but it's humongous. So it is a good thing on perspective to know that there are absolute monstrosities happening around the world. And then you have to put yourself in your own shoes and be like, is my life really that bad? Are my problems worth vocalizing online? Or should I just shut my mouth and work on fixing the issue at hand? Which I think that's what a lot of you guys should look to do, right? New Zealand itself started off terribly, I might say. No one cares about the festivals or anything like that. Sure, R&V was a shithole and it like almost flooded, but the real terrible news was New Zealand just had its first female cop die ever in Nelson. And the way she died is like, put that dude in a cell with any guy, he'll bash the shit out of that dude. This guy intentionally drove into her while she was on the ground arresting someone, and yeah, the video is quite horrendous. It was so horrendous. And the defense, so his defense lawyer argued for that video to be taken down. where the public should see what this is like, how evil. It's crazy how this guy can have a defense lawyer. Anyway, that was how it started off, and another cop also got badly injured. Then we had international news, which is, some guy just blowing up a Cybertruck outside the Trump Tower in Las Vegas on New Year's, and some other guy that was holding people hostage who hired both vehicles from the same rental place. So it's like inside job, conspiracy type stuff. Again, you will not see much of these stories on Instagram. You guys need to understand how the algorithms work, as they pick up keywords and they'll just shadow ban them. So you guys won't even see it. And that's why some people, when they try and get a little bit more controversial the way they're posting on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, you'll just not have bugger all people see it. You have to go on X where there's not much censoring happening. So that was terrible. For New Zealand to have its first female cop is a really bad thing, and the first cop to die in Nelson. That's terrible. Suicides as well. There was a massive thing that happens every year around the world, and again, New Zealand has a very bad track record for this to happen. New Zealand had its first suicide that I'm aware of like a couple days ago, which is terrible. And it's one of those things where I didn't used to look too much into it myself. I used to not speak up on it, but I do believe that there is not much change happening. If there's an issue happening that is not decreasing, year after year after year, there has to be a certain point in a guy's life where he's like, maybe I should start to speak up on this. And the more you age, the more you mature, that's when you'll be like, actually, now I think I will. Because there's a difference to speaking up and complaining. Speaking up should be like you have the intention that you're actually trying to make change. Complaining, which is what 95% of idiots do online, is they're just fucking complaining. So people are like, look at me. Most guys would argue the fact that they would rather speak up on suicide to the fact that it just never happens again and there's no spotlight on anyone. There's no fame coming from this. You think Mike King wants the fucking spotlight on him all the time as the leader in charge of doing suicide? He'd rather suicide just go to zero and he just disappears into the abyss. Guaranteed. That's what he would like, right? So this is a thing about mental health that, again, because that links to mental health, that, maybe it's time to start speaking up a little bit about this and how it can be helping a lot more of those guys out there, because there's a pillar that needs to be in men's lives, because that's where the biggest statistic of suicides come from, that you need to be checking as much of those boxes. And a lot of them go into like 3 when there's probably like 10 of those boxes, and those 7 is where they find the darkest moments and, they do what they do. So we're going to try and do that. And a major pillar of that is financial independence, or just not crippling finances, because that is a huge factor where it could be crippling finances for the person or it can be for their family, and that person feels absolutely fucking helpless, and then they end up going somewhere. Oh, people do it for their own life insurance. So they think that that's going to actually help their family for maybe. So that is why the main thing, what I'm known for, is, property education, which is why we have our platform Investor Pro, where people can learn how to buy property well, and they can become deal sources and learn how to make money with bugger all money. We had someone on my Instagram, Jason, who came on early December, who said he made about $65,000 last year from learning what we teach on the platform, which is insane money. It's not typical, but he's the number one dude at the moment, which is crazy. So that is one of the things that we can provide in helping physical, tangible skills and education to people. But yeah, the year has started off rough. And most people that you would follow online would be like, oh, let's try and look at the positive. Let's stay positive. Yes, I do agree with that in your own mind, of course. But if people are just not talking about the negatives, you will not know what issues that you yourself can actually look to learn on and help fix. That's what it's about, right? That saying, out of sight, out of mind, terrible. Terrible in this situation. All guys should know what the issues are so they can work hard to do their part in this society, right? Because New Zealand right now is not in a very good place. People have doubt in the leadership. We've got the Treaty Principles Bill today that is about to be closed off, and you've got a nation that's becoming divisive on this. Same thing that's happening all around the world. And, I don't know, being a 32-year-old guy, when I can remember what is a country that I can look back on that is like the most perfect, inclusive country. The top country in the world right now is El Salvador, which is insane because that used to be the most dangerous country on earth. Then you've got the leader who's basically come on in and just had zero chill and done the most aggressive rules and have decreased their death rates from like 6,000 a year to like 114 a year by just having no mercy on any of the criminals. So New Zealand has started to do that. Luxton's done things with the gang patches, and he's done things with increased sentences for people that do minor crimes, and it's the first step in it. And people will argue saying, no, you shouldn't take away the gang patches and things like this. But he's looking at 5 years from now, how that will change. So that's one of the key things. In the property side of this, in New Zealand, interest rates will be coming down, which means that it's good because if you've got property already, I just got hit up by my mortgage broker saying that we've got some mortgages that will be coming off the fixed rate, so you should be fixing on a lower rate. It means I'll have more money to buy whatever. But the smart thing to do is just assume that your mortgage will stay the same and you keep paying the same, so you pay it down faster. There's different scenarios here. We've got great brokers and financial advisors that people can talk to on the platform as well. And if you're looking at buying an investment property this year, because I made a video on it yesterday where I said a lot of the people post 40, 50, they are shitting themselves because they might only have like 100K in their KiwiSaver, and they know that that's going to last them fuck all, and they know that the government's pension is fuck all as well. So they're like, what am I going to do when I hit 65 and my kids are all broke losers and they all need help right now, and I'm in my 50s still helping their asses, or my 60s still helping them. So how am I supposed to live post 70? Who's going to help me? They do understand that they're going to live a very mediocre life where things become the most hardest for them. They can't even fucking walk upstairs without complaining, and now they have to deal with financial woes. That's terrible. So that's why I said to people, buy at least one fucking rental property, because if you do, 10 years time, if you've bought well, that should be like maybe 300K if you've bought well enough. So that's why I said, if you are the kid or the young one that is below 40, you should be doing this for them. And if your parents have already passed or whatever, you should be doing it for you, so your kids don't have to look after your broke ass. It's just a cycle. You guys all know how that works. So again, you can learn more about it on our platform, investpro.co.nz, where it's a yearly subscription of only one payment of $295, which is quite good. So if you want to see more content like this, we'll be doing a lot more, reading of the DMs. A lot more people, when I post certain things off X and I bring it to Instagram, they're like, man, I haven't heard anything about this. Or there's very sensitive topics that not many other influencers will be talking about, because there's that whole thing where it's like, you hold off from the hard out topics, but it's like, I've been making content for like nearly 10 years now. And then when you get to a certain age and fucking thousands of posts, you just stop caring. You don't care anymore. And what's the main metric of this is that you could post the most and say the most controversial things, do the most controversial things, and guess what? You might just end up president of the United States of America fucking twice. So why would anyone hold back? This is literally what the people want. There is 330 million people in America. Obviously, he had majority of the votes, but the thing is, look outside of the world. Look at all the other people around other countries that support Trump. So he's a beacon of hope where people should be like, yes, actually, I think my voice counts. But one of the main things people need to realize is that if you weak-minded, intentionally broke person, your opinion does not matter. You know, people that you're entitled to your own opinion, yes, but doesn't mean anyone has to listen to it. So that is why you have to get a bit more social status behind you. So if you do want to say something, people at least listen to you. You know, there's like 10 people that can listen to you. Not online. You have to start with in real life first. Because if people in real life think you're a fuckwit and don't want to listen to anything you have to say, what makes you think complete strangers will, right? So yes, that is just a little bit of the first episode here. And if you do want us to talk about certain topics, let me know. Instagram DM at Tamasing, and definitely keen to do it. We're going to talk about all the clowns that you see in the world, because people want a place you can go and just fucking rage about their boss, or rage about the idiot in traffic, or rage about this person doing this in politics, or this rule being passed. Anything, you know? So we're pretty keen to talk about that and how you could have handled that situation better. Great. Cool. Well, that's us done. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one, which should be coming out maybe next week sometime.